This is chapter 3, tables, computer science, FIT, and the ICT of class 10. So we were looking at the different aspects, the advanced aspects of HTML. Now we are on frames. What is frames? In short, these are multiple windows. See, you have a web page. So a place is given to you as a web page. Your browser is going to run it. You want this to be shown in a beautiful way, in an interacting and engaging way to the user. For that you want some partition, this partition, you want this to be treated differently, this to be treated differently, this you want some content to be shown of some other interest. So this kind of bifurcation in different windows of a web page in the form of frame is known as frames and frame set. So we are trying to make the partition vertically and horizontally. So this you will see when I'll show you the example. The basic idea of this is you have to very much understand this, because this comes in the questions also, that this frames or this frame set, actually frames are different and frame sets are different. So frame comes under or inside frame set, but this whole frame set, it is not inside your head, it is not inside your head. Why it is not inside your head? It is not inside your body. Why it is not inside your body? Why? Because this frame set is actually, you are changing the structure of the web page. You are making structural changes. That means when you are taking or doing some structural changes, you need not to write it, or you will not write it in the body. So this altogether from this frame is a different, or it's an identity, it has its own identity. It work like a different entity by altogether. Like the head, whatever you write inside head will go to the head part. Body part. Frame set, frames. You are making the partition, right? So what you do here is you make a frame set, you set a column. What you're doing here is column. Column means if this is a table, this is a column. If this is a table, this is the row. These are two rows, and for this table, these are two columns. One column, two column. So you're making column. You can give the percentage. I'll tell you about what star does in the later discussion. And inside this, because once you have partition, say you have partitioned this into two columns. This area, or this partition is known as a frame. This is known as a frame. So this combination of frame is known as a frame set. So frame, in this frame you have to give the source. That is the HTML document you want to put in here. You want to show here. So if you consider this to be a table or say a web page, I'll explain it like this. There are certain attributes that you are going to use in the frame set. First is your rows. Now this is your table. In green you are able to show this, see this table. Now rows, these are the rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows. How many columns are there? 1, 2, 3. So if you want to divide the web page into different columns, you use cols. If you want to divide it in number of rows, you use these rows. How? What border? See, this is the border. Frame border. This is a frame. See, one is a frame. This is the border. Sorry, the border of the frame set is this. The border of the frame is this. Then frame border, frame spacing. Now you want these two frames to be somewhat apart. You want a definite spacing between them. For that, you use frame spacing. These are given in the number form. These may be given in the percentage form or a number form. When we have talked about frame set, we need to talk about frame also, because a frame set consists of or contain frames. Inside frame set we have different frames. So frame, this is the frame. First of all, you have source, because you need to show something in that frame. So you ought to have a src source. That will be an HTML document. You want, when you have a frame, the content can be big, can be small. If it is big, it is not shown at once. You have to scroll down. For that you can use yes, auto, no. Auto means if the content is big, automatically the scroll bars will come. Now this, if you use Word, you can just place your mouse here and you can drag this line. But sometimes you don't want this to happen in the web page. For that you use no resize. How about name? Name is the name is the name which is given to the frame, and the target is the name, noun of the name attribute. I'll show you all these in the example. So we will start with the basic one. Basic is this, means you are making a simple table. You are making it calls equal to 120 comma star. That means you are giving the length or the I must say the width, because this is my width, okay, from here to here. I am giving the width 120 pixel, and then I am saying star. That means all other thing 120 may just assume that I have a 640 width pixel screen. So 120 will be here. Just subtract 120 from here. 520 pixel this frame is going to take. In the first frame you will get a menu.html. You'll see menu.html, and the name we will know this frame as will be menu. This frame will have a name as menu, and the content will be shown as main.html. Whatever is inside your main.html will be shown here. The second is your rows. Now you decide, I want this frame to be a frame set to be divided, or web page to be divided into 2 rows or number of rows. You can give the percentage also. So if this will be 50%, means half, and this will be half. Then the first frame will have a.html, second will have b.html. Right now we are not making a.html, b.html, because we'll be ultimately going to make it in the later discussion. But before we go ahead, let me show you these two before we go ahead. So let us start our code, and for that I have already while I started this discussion when we started the chapter, I urged you to use this notepad. This is a very good, actually it is just like any other say software. It is just a simple software. So we'll open the notepad, this one, right? So the code is written here. Let me just close it, because we will try to write everything from the scratch. This is the code of the book. Now let me tell you, the code in the book, if you copy and paste, it is not going to work. You have to change. So these codes I have taken from the book, and they have been changed by me because there are certain grammatical or comma or like double quotes, like dot dot dot. They are not going to work exactly on your web page, because they will not comprise of the HTML. So this is a changed code which I will be using. I'll just show you how does it work. So first one, we saw this one. So let us make a new file. We'll make a new file. Let me save it as HTML. So let me save it as HTML, and I'll name it as frame. We'll use this frame. Name as frame. Okay. And I have to make it as an HTML. So let us take HTML. So this is a new file which is being created, and right now I am putting this code which I already discussed with you. So let me place this code. Okay, Control S, and now we'll run. We'll see what happens. 120 comma star. Menu.html we have not made. Main.html we have not made. But we'll see the partition here. We'll see the frames here. So let me run in any of the browser. As you can see here, this is the first part. This is the second part. As I'm moving my cursor or moving my mouse cursor, you can see, and I can resize also. Now let me just make it as say 520. What difference does it make? Let me refresh it now. See, the distance or the horizontal screen pixel width it has taken has changed. So this is the first one. Let us go to the second one. Now we would like to have column instead, rows instead. This column we have seen. We will try to have a example of rows also. Let me paste it and let me run it. So you will see the example of rows. Now this is the first row, this is second row. And why you are seeing it? Because we have actually not made this a.html or b.html. This is just for example. So this has been done, let us go back to our discussion. And in discussion, we will now make T. You want to divide the web page in the form of T. So how you're going to make it? T is like this. Okay. This is your page. So you'll see a T. You'll see a T here. So how T is made? Like this. This T is made. We'll see the inverted T also. We'll see the inverted T also. So for that, this T and inverted T, what we have to do here is, we have to make a frame set. This will be our first frame set. Then we have to make a second frame set. So a frame set inside a frame set. First frame set, we are making the frame set. The first content will be our a.html, because this is divided into row. So I have 2 rows here. And the second frame set will actually be again 2 frames. Means 2 partition. One partition this, 2 partition this. This will contain b.html. This will contain c.html. In this similar way, I want to make an inverted T. Inverted T. So how I am going to make it? Like this. So we have to divide it into first 2 rows. So this is first frame set, row equal to this 2 percentage, you know by now. And how about the columns? 1 column, 2 column. So these are 2 columns. So frame set first, and this is the second frame set inside the first frame set. So this is going to give you a.html. This will show b.html, and the name will be top left, top right, like this. This also we have not made. So this is how you are going to see. This is an inverted T. Inverted T. And I'll just show you how does it work before we go ahead for the other options which we have, or rather I'll discuss it. So because we have already seen the various part of the frame set, and we have seen this. Now we'll talk about the frame border. So in the next example, we'll give frame border equal to 0. As you saw this frame, there is a border. This border you can see, I'm moving it. This border, if it is given 0, it is not going to show you any border. So you will not see this. If you give frame spacing, so if there is no border there, you have to give some spacing between these two. So this frame spacing is given by like this. And of course, you have 2 frames inside the frame set. This is how it is shown. There will be no line here. There will be no frame border, and there will be at least 50 pixels of spacing between these 2 different frames. We'll show it just now, because we have to see about the scrolling also, because we have not made a.html and form button.html, whatever given in your book. So you'll not be appreciating the scrolling, but you need to understand scrolling means if the content is larger, the scroll bars will come horizontal and vertical like this. These are the scroll bars. I'll show you. These are the scroll bars. This will come. These are the scroll bars. And you have given that, okay, I want to have a scroll bar for frame 1. I don't want to have a scroll bar for the second one. So I have given scrolling equal to no. So this will not have a scroll bar. This will have a scroll bar. As you can see here, these are 2 scroll bars. Now this next one is resize. As you see, or as you have witnessed here, I am able to move it. I don't want to move it. I don't want user to move it. So just I will give no resize. No resize. Right? So before we actually go to the jumping from one section to another, let me explain you with examples how these earlier discussion work. So first of all, we'll take the first example, that is we are trying to make a T. Okay, let us make a T. So a frame set inside a frame set. A frame set inside this frame set. We have not made A or B or C HTML, so you will not see anything. You will see a T, of course. Let me save it. I'll run it in my browser. You can see a T. You want to see a property. This is a T. Now you want to have a inverted T. Again the same stuff with a bit of change. Let me paste it here. Control S. Let me run it. Just to show you that what exactly book is offering you. So this is your inverted T. We have not made the HTML, so you will not be able to see. This is done. Now let me show you this form border spacing. So let us take this code. I am taking directly from the book, but with certain changes. You have to change like this. You have to uh, pause and see this content so that you'll be able to run, because directly from book you will not be able to run. There are certain changes you have to make in the code. Let me run it. So there is no line, there is no frame border. Okay, there is no frame border. Now I'll go to the spacing also is 50. I'll go to scrolling. You'll not be able to appreciate scrolling because there is no content. We have not made this a.html, neither we have made this form button. So this is just for sake of completion I'm showing. You'll not be able to appreciate it because there is no content. So it will be same as the previous one. But the scroll auto and scroll no, you must understand. Now no resize. You don't want user to resize. For that, you give this. Let me run it for you. Okay. Now I'm not able to resize it because I don't have, my cursor is not becoming the way it should be, because we have given that I don't want user to resize it. Okay. So this we have studied. This we have done. Let us go to jumping from one section to another. Now this is you have to very patiently see, because there is a code here. What we are going to do here is, I want that, okay, my say I have various content. Say this is 1, this is 2, like this, and this is 100. I want to jump to say 64th. The best thing is, or the easiest thing is, I have to scroll it down 64, or the next way is I can give this. I can give this. So I will jump to a particular section in the frame. For that, I have to use this code. Then I have to make jump.html also. And in this jump.html, so this is my jump.html. In this jump.html, this is again a different file. We are going to make it. And in this, we have to take an anchor tag. This is our section 1 from here to here. This is our section 1 to from here to here. So when I want to jump directly to S12, so whenever I run this program or this HTML code, you will see S12. You will see S12. So what I'll try to do is, I'll show you the first version, then I'll change this. So let me, this is our frame.html, we'll be using this only. I'll make my frame.html like this. I'll save it. But now I have to make jump.html. Jump.html. So I have to make a new file. New. Okay. Let me save it with this name. So I'm just copying it so that I'll be able to, because this capital and cases also differ. For that I have to be very cautious. So jump.html, let me make it this jump.html. So I have a new file. I have no problem. I will make it small here. Okay. Where it will not affect small j, capital J, but for just the sake of correctness, and we don't want any trouble in running for that. So now I'll take this code of jump as I showed you in the discussion. I'll take this code duly formatted and I will paste it here. So now you have to make two files. This is frame.html. In this you are making a frame set. In the second file, this is jump.html. So you are calling it this just jump.html. Now I have two sections here. This first section, second section. I will just delete it. This is just like any other program. So when I run it, let me run it. You will not see anything. You will see the first frame, second frame, and this is section 1. Please mark this section 1. Now I will change certain thing and you will not see section 1. How? Let me go in here. Okay. Let me go in here and I just want to this is correct. Okay, this is correct. I will add this again. Now while I run this, you see previously it was section 1. Now I am able to see section 12 directly. I don't have to scroll. I have jumped from this frame, left frame, to directly section 12. See, this is the section 12. So how I came to section 12? I used the anchor tag here and named it as S12. Then in the frame.html, I added it with the frame after the HTML file with hash. I don't want to mix up these two, so just added a hash and S12. Now even if I write this, say some section, you can change the name, it will take me to 12 directly, right? If you give it, say, I make it control X, I take my section here and I give name as section S5, right? Now I change here, control S, I change it as 5. Now what you assume, what your assumption is, what you're going to see. Let me save it and I'll run it. See, section 5 is here. This you wanted. This is how jumping works. Now the next one is navigational frame. Now you want, let me show you first. You want that your frame should be something like this. When you have two partitions, you want to click here. These are various menu, and you want the menu content to be shown here. When I click here, the content should be shown here. When I click this, content should be shown here. So this is, most of the website use this type of structure. So I'll show you how you're going to make this. This is how we'll go to our code. So this is, there is a simple urge from you, or simple suggestion, that the way the book has showed us, you'll not be able to make like this. So b.html, if you say this, or say a.html is good, but there has to be something else. You have to make one file to make a frame, then you have to make this a.html, then you have to make b.html. So this is okay, a.html. b.html is, in my opinion, this somewhat needs to be changed as per book, and the main file also have to be made. So I will do the correct, I will show you the correct thing what you have to do, and I'll explain also. So my first file will of course be this frame.html. In this I am going to take my code, which is this one, simple code. So I have two columns. First will have a.html, the name will be menu. The second column will have b.html, the name will be content, right? Now I have to make this a.html, I have to make that b.html. So what I'm going to do is, I'll make two new files. First one I will save it as a.html, right? Second one I will save it as b.html, as the book has said, but the organization is different, because if you follow the book, you'll not be able to run it. This is just a change which I am going to make. Let me delete it. So if one is frame, in this a.html should be there. We have made a.html, which will be our menu, and b.html will be our content. So b.html also we have made. Let me copy the code. This a.html will contain the, I'll explain you, don't worry. a.html will contain the menu, and b.html will contain nothing. You can make just b.html and you can write nothing. That also is going to work, right? I'm just showing you because I want some good things or good appreciation of the page. Let me save it. And now frame.html. In that a.html, what I have done is I have given various references. So when a user is going to click on this name, which is the name A Small World, this website is going to open on the right side. That is the content frame. If I click this Blockster right hand, the content has to be shown, and the content will be shown here. Let me run it so that you will be able to appreciate it more. I have to save it. So let me run it again. Okay, these are two portions as I just suggested. When I click here, what I am going to get, I will be able to open, when I click on this a small word, this some random HTML file will be opened, and I want this on in this content. That is why the target is given as content. See, everywhere the target is content. Everywhere the green highlighted is content only. So we want to show the content on the right side, or in the right side frame. So now let me run it again. I'll go back to the page. So if I run it, you'll be able to see on the right side some web page. So this has come. This is how you do this navigational frame. So this is all about what we have to discuss in frame. So let us summarize what we have actually learned in the chapter. First is, we have talked about the table. Table we represent in the form of rows and column. TH and TD are exactly same. TH is for the header, and whatever you give inside, TH will be in boldface and they will be center aligned. The TR is the table row, which will contain the data, row data. And if you want to increase this spans, row span and col span we have used. If you have a table, you want to name it, then you can use the caption. And also the description of windows, dividing the windows, you can use the frame set, and inside this you can use the frame. So this is all about frame, and this is the end of the chapter, which is called the tables. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.